And today we are going to bring to you some initiatives that the Black and Hispanic Nutrition Initiative is bringing to communities throughout this beautiful country that we all reside in. And we are collaborating today with a phenomenal pastor down in Tampa, Florida. His name is Pastor R.J. Stevenson with New Saint Paul AME Church. And today, many of you might have seen on Facebook Live already or YouTube Live that they are doing a launch of a hub workspace down in the Tampa, Florida area. And it's phenomenal. I mean, they are giving away food bags. There's small businesses set up outside. They're all showing what they provide, from t-shirts to oils and candles and food. Just amazing environment down there. So I am very pleased. We are pleased to be a part of this special occasion for the ribbon cutting for this Google Workspace residing inside of the New Saint Paul AME Church. But again, we're going to talk about health, nutrition, and financial literacy. All three very important components in the communities, not only the Black and Hispanic, but any community. And I just want to point out that this initiative is for every denomination, every race, every creed, every color, every gender, okay? We are opening our doors to everyone, churches and nonprofits. We want to come where you want us to be. Okay, so we ask that you have an open mind, number one, because you always heard closed mouths don't get fed. Closed minds don't get fed either. So we ask you to have an open mind as these phenomenal and an amazing collaboration of coaches are going to just pour so much love into you, and we just ask that you embrace it. So again, my name is Troy Richardson. Thank you so much. And I want to introduce a gentleman who's the executive advisor of health for the initiative. And you've probably seen him on TV, bookstores, all over. But I want to introduce Dr. William Sears. Dr. Sears, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Troy. And it's an honor, and I mean that, an honor to be a medical advisor to the Black and Hispanic Nutrition Initiative. This has always been a dream of mine, Troy. I grew up in sort of an underprivileged family, financially very underprivileged, but my mother was very smart. My mother instilled in me the gift of health. She taught me very early on that health is wealth. That health is wealth. And that stuck in with me now 80 years later. And thank you, Mom. And so this is when you came to me with this initiative, I thought, count me in, because I've always had that dream. But you know, Troy, I call it a goal rather than a dream. A goal is a dream with an action plan. And that's what we all have. We have an action plan to get out there in the communities, to provide health coaches, to teach health tips to these communities, to help people be financially healthy, mentally healthy, physically healthy, emotionally healthy. That's what we all want, the gift of health. And we've donated 1,500 books of our Dr. Sears T5 wellness plan as sort of a textbook to get you all started. So I am so excited, and what gives me, I call it the helper's high, that when you asked me to join this initiative, I went to bed that night with a high dose of the helper's high, meaning that I feel good by doing good. And that's exactly what you just join the club, join us, get out there and feel good by doing good. So thank you for joining our Black and Hispanic Nutrition Initiative.
Wow, Dr. Sears, thank you so much for that. And we're going to keep it moving along because time is of the essence. Realize it's Saturday and down in Florida, it's very nice. But we want to introduce another. Can you guys hear me? I'm sorry.
Yes, you're fine. You're fine. Now we can't hear you.
We want to introduce our next coach, and she is a phenomenal certified yoga instructor extraordinaire and also a classically trained chef. So please help me welcome Miss Brandy Klinksgale.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Brandy.
You can hear me okay?
Yes, if you could put your volume up just a tad bit.
Sure. How's that?
That's good.
Okay, perfect. Well, we're just going to do a 3-minute breathing exercise. So let's get started. I want first everyone to take 3 nourishing deep breaths. Just there's no right or wrong way to do it. You don't have to count. Just inhale deeply and exhale out of your mouth 3 times. So just inhale. Exhale out of your mouth. Release it all. Let go of everything that already happened and don't worry about what isn't here yet. Inhale. Exhale. Your breath should be audible. So when you inhale, really hear that breath come in. That's a birth of life. Each breath that we inhale is a new life. So inhale last time. Okay, maybe shrug your shoulders up to your ears and drop them down. Bring your shoulders up to your ears again, drop them down. And lastly, bring your shoulders up to your ear and drop them down along your back. You should feel nice and relaxed in your shoulders. If you're seated, bring both feet to the floor and bring your palms either to your lap, face down, hands down, or you can bring your palms to your heart space. It's up to you. But I'm going to invite you all at this moment to lower your gaze or close your eyes. I'm going to choose to close my eyes. And just take a few deep breaths in, a few nourishing deep breaths out. Notice the texture of your breath. Thank yourself for being in this space at this time. Celebrate where you are. Let go of where you've been. And don't worry about where you're going. Celebrate being in this moment at this time. Just breathe in at your normal pace and just exhale calmly. Become aware of your breath in your body. When you breathe in, your belly will expand, but so will your back. It's almost like a kinetic ball opening up. Hold it at the top if you can for a second, and then exhale. Empty out all the air. We're going to move through this breathing exercise in at least 5 breaths at your own pace. If thoughts begin to come up, gently acknowledge each thought. Honor yourself for being in this moment and taking care of you. Thank yourself for being present in your mind and in your body at this moment. With each exhale, begin to relax a new part of your body. Become aware of another part of your body relaxing. Unclench your jaw. Relax your face. Relax your eyes behind your lids. I invite you to just come into you. In all things, we should try to make ourselves be as grateful as possible. For gratitude is the good thing for ourselves in a manner in which is justice, commonly held to belong to others. Gratitude pays itself back in large measure. Even if today was your last day on earth, if you knew in advance that it was going to end in a few short hours, there would still be plenty to be grateful for. How much better would your life be if we kicked off every day like that? If we could let it carry us through from the morning to the night and allow it to touch every part of our lives. Take one more deep breath in. Exhale it out. I invite you all to open your eyes. And the light and love in me honors and respects the light and love in each one of you. We bow forward and share a word. Namaste. Thank you.
Wow. Brandy, thank you so much. I don't know about everyone else, but I'm in a new space right now. I feel refreshed. I feel relieved. It's just an amazing feeling on what simple breathing can do to relax your mind and your spirit. So thank you so much. And folks, just like Brandy and all the other coaches, if you want more information, just go to the BHNI website and just click on contact, and we will make sure that you get the information. Just let us know in particular what you're looking for, and we can make sure that you get any information that you feel is necessary. So we're going to continue on, and next we're going to introduce a health and wellness enthusiast, coach, advocate, just a phenomenal young man. I'm proud to call a friend, a brother, as we serve together in this journey of healthy living. But Mr. Henry Lee, welcome, Henry. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure to be locking arms with you and changing the world here. And RJ, Pastor RJ, just a phenomenal person with the short time that I've been able to meet you here. Love what you're doing down in Tampa, Florida. So everyone who is watching the broadcast here right now or the recording, just want to acknowledge the task that he has been doing down there. And I'm going to show you a few slides here, just to show you like what we're all about as far as health and wellness is concerned. So, first of all, Troy, you had asked me to speak at this ribbon cutting, and I'll be honest with you, I was a little hesitant because I'm thinking, wait a minute, this is a Black and Hispanic a Catholic initiative, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, I'm not Black and I'm not Hispanic, so why am I sharing health with you guys? And you did a very good job of grounding me and explaining that any type of movement that we have, whether it's civil rights or whether it's health and wellness, or it's not just one race, we're all in this together. So we're transforming the entire world together. And I appreciate that transparency, that authenticity. And so what do I have to offer for you today? Just a little bit of background. So I am a former classroom teacher. Anatomy and physiology was my specialty, biology and environmental sciences. Now I work with the Heart Attack and Stroke Prevention Center. We literally prevent heart attacks and strokes through the mouth, through oral and dental and systemic health. I also partner with one of my favorite companies called Juice Plus and Tower Gardens. And I know that Pastor RJ is very familiar with especially the Tower Gardens. So I have a couple pictures of some farms here I'm going to show you about really the power of that. So I'm going to share my screen with you so you see what we're talking about today. And let's see here. Here we go. All right. So at the top, like I said, give me a little thumbs up if you can see my screen. Everyone good? Awesome. Okay. So, like I said, I work at the Heart Attack and Stroke Prevention Center, partner with a company called Juice Plus and Tower Gardens. We do all sorts of different things like salad in a jar parties and meal preps. And but at the end of the day, what we're trying to do is just inspire healthy living and save lives. And we do that by a number of means. And one of the things that we love doing is just empowering classrooms, because kids really, you always hear this thing about the kids are the future of our world, this next generation. So one of our good friends, Dr. Stephen Ritz over here in Bronx, he has created this dynasty where he is changing what classrooms look like, community centers, and just urban farming. And on this next slide here, you see a little bit of what we're doing here in Columbus. And it's very similar to what Pastor RJ is doing in Tampa right now. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, you have 12 of these gardens down there that you are using to feed the community. And your vision, which I'm sure you're going to share, or if you haven't already, is to triple that within these couple months or year. And so one of the things that we do around the world, in this picture on the top right, you see this is a mobile kitchen. That unit, that block there can be detached. There's a table that comes off the top, table that comes off the side. We take it over to communities, and the kids, middle school and high school, they come in after their school and they get a little stipend, and they learn how to plant, to maintain, to harvest, to sell. So it's a business opportunity, and just to educate the community, because there's a burner in there, there's a refrigerator in there. They learn how to make smoothies, prepare the foods, but more importantly, what they're doing really is changing the trajectory of their life. And we all know that if you don't have your health, then that's your greatest wealth. Then what else is there left that matters? And so this is one of my favorite articles. Time Magazine put this out about how let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. And, just to put it in layman's terms here, Steve Jobs, one of the former CEOs of the biggest technology dynasty, on his dying deathbed at age 53 from cancer, noted the same thing. I mean, this is something that was stated by Hippocrates long ago, centuries ago. And now we have a guy that's sharing with us about eat your food as your medicine. Otherwise, you'll be eating your medicine as your food. And what if instead of pumping yourselves up with medicine and drugs and taking vitamins, and I say take because we take medicine, we take vitamins, but you eat food. And that's really the key. And so that's what the mission that we're trying to convey to people. And what happens when you heal your body with food. And not to say that medicine doesn't have a place, because if I get hit by a bus on the side of the road, I don't want you coming over and saying, hey, eat this apple and banana, right? I'm going to say, hey, use that tourniquet and stop the bleeding. But in the meantime, help me heal from the inside out at the cellular level. And these are just a couple things that we're accomplishing, because at the end of the day, you want to live confidently that you're not going to have a heart attack, that you're not going to get sick during this pandemic, that your gum disease, which has a direct access to your blood, and it's the same bacteria that causes heart attacks and strokes, healthier skin, protecting your DNA and such. I mean, all sorts of things from insulin resistance and diabetes, all this chronic disease that's just crushing our world. You have a choice, and 80% of that is actually irreversible in some cases, but in most cases is determined by the lifestyle choices that you have. Over at the Heart Attack and Stroke Prevention Center, we look at the root causes of disease. And I know that's in the little print, so I'm not going to ask you to read all of that, nor am I going to bore you in saying all these medical terms. But basically, it's lifestyle that dictates the inflammation in the body. And so I like to focus on the 6 best doctors that you can find in your own home. And I really appreciate sharing that breathing exercise, right? And that was just that's the first and foremost, because when you think about it, in your everyday life, we do not use the maximum capacity of our lungs. In fact, we only utilize about 1/6 of our lung capacity. That's called tidal volume, if any of you are doctors or anatomists out there. But how much more is available if we actually take the time to access all that deep breath and exhale everything so we can take in more. And that fresh air is one of the first and foremost indicators, or not indicators, but factors in reducing all that systemic disease. But it doesn't help unless it's moved out into the extremities of your body, and that requires exercise. And so Dr. Exercise is what I call them. Is just as important because it circulates that fresh air, it circulates that nutrients that you have. And water, every single chemical reaction in the entire body happens in the presence of water. Not only is it good for chemical reactions, for digestion, etc., but it flushes your system. And so Dr. Water or Dr. Hydration is also one of the 6 keys. Dr. Rest is also important because when does your body heal the most? When does it repair? Whether you're doing a heavy lifting workout or whether you're just trying to repair from everyday exercise and movement. And then diet is one of the things that we emphasize most. And and that's what I really appreciate what you're doing with those tower farms, Pastor RJ. Prevention is a lot easier than a cure. And again, you're either going to pay the farmer now or you pay the doctor later. Which one is your choice? And we all know if you have a heart attack or stroke, or if you end up with diabetes or you end up with cancer, then that quality of life is never returning to the same. So why not choose prevention over treatment? And the last one here is something that we often ignore. Sunlight is oftentimes overlooked because we don't measure and we don't record how much that sun exposure we get in it. But really, when it comes down to it, that sun activates the cholesterol in our skin and turns it into vitamin D. Vitamin D helps with your immune system, with your mood. In fact, up here in Ohio, where I am, winter blues is a real thing. Winter blues is when you get depressed when you don't have enough vitamin D. Vitamin D helps you with calcium absorption and it helps you with muscle repair. And so that is right up there with the world's best 6 doctors. And again, you can do all of these really easily. We want to empower you in the community to really take take back control of your health using simple processes in your own home, and not get out of your head, lead with your heart, spread this news. You don't have to be a doctor to know that the 6 best doctors that you can share with your community are fresh air, exercise, hydration with water, getting ample rest, good diet, quantity, quality, and variety, and plenty of sunlight. So this last slide that I want to show you here, just want to thank you for tuning in today and joining us with this ribbon cutting and grand opening. And just shout out to Pastor RJ Stevenson of the new Saint Paul AME Church. Love what you're doing down there, sir. And I want to turn this back over to Troy Richardson.
Hey, Henry, thank you. Thank you so much, brother. Outstanding and impactful information for sure. Again, folks, we ask you just keep an open mind and feed your mind with all this knowledge that these coaches are bringing you. We're going to keep it moving, okay? And next, I want to bring in a young lady who is my queen sister in the movement, just one of the biggest hearts I've ever encountered in my life. And she's going to just, especially the women, but this is for everybody, but you women, you really want to pay attention to what Lisa Michelle is going to tell you. She is a certified aging well specialist, amongst other things, but this is one of the titles that I love to introduce her by because she is really doing a tremendous job spreading the word of health in the communities as a certified aging well specialist. So Lisa Michelle, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Troy, and everyone else here today. Congratulations to RJ Stevens, pastor, and his church on the ribbon cutting today, so much excitement going on. It's a pleasure indeed to be here. And my name is Lisa Michelle. I am a children's ministry director, a certified health coach with Dr. Bill Sears, and an aging well specialist. I live in Charleston, South Carolina, and I'm a mom of adult daughters. So I'm going to share my screen, and I've got some things to share with you today. Hold on one second. Give me a thumbs up if you can see that. Okay. Thank you. So as we move forward in life, many of us want to get there quickly. And so whether you're a young person desiring to reach the next grade level or the next age level, or whether you're an adult yearning for your next promotion or assignment, or even your next living arrangement, we have adopted the philosophy that faster is better. But that often does not hold true for the process of growing old. I've talked to very few adults that want to grow old faster. In fact, many of us desire to reverse the aging process. But how? Is that really possible? Well, I'm glad that you asked, because there are several things that we can do to enhance wellness and to slow down the aging process. And we're going to look at a few of those today. And so similar to what Henry shared, I have found 6 best friends that along our journey of aging well can help. Fresh air. Okay, thank you for that wonderful breathing exercise that was done earlier. And that air, man, it gets to your brains and it excites it, and it's wonderful. Getting exercise is so important as well, because moving our bodies can help us regulate and decrease anxiety and depression. And also blood pressure can be regulated with exercise. Drinking water, oh my gosh, should be one of our best friends. You know, tell me this, would you consider washing your clothes in soda or juice? No. Would you consider watering plants with soda or juice? Well, think about your organs and how you can hydrate them with water. They love it. Your organs love water. Your brain loves water. Your body loves water. So go with the things that love your body. Getting rest, 7 to 8 hours a day. We should be resting our bodies. And we all feel better when we are well rested. And eating good food, quality food, clean food. We're going to take a look at how to do that as well. And sunshine. Like Henry said, that vitamin D in our bodies, it loves our bodies. Not too much, but getting enough every day is wonderful. And so along your journey, what you need less of are the medications that may not be serving you well, and increasing your plants in your body, your plant-based eating is very important. And you know, that top picture kind of looked like me. I was taking a handful of medicines at a time when I did not know the effects of aging like I do now. And so it's so important to eat real food. And you may say, well, you know, what is that? And why is that important? Well, fruits and vegetables were God's idea. The original fast food was all made by him. That's why when he created us, he put us in a garden, everything that we needed for our survival and success and thriving was in that garden. And unfortunately, we have gotten far away from that garden, but we can come back to it. So we see that our food quality is decreasing. And what does that mean? That means that most of the foods that we eat are processed. And processed means that they were made in a plant. And they're full of preservatives, emulsifiers, growth hormones, all kinds of things that are not serving our bodies well. So we need to get away from the processed foods and go with foods that are unprocessed. And you know where they're found? They are found at the perimeter of the grocery store, where all the color is. Having that color of the rainbow is so important for our aging processes. And we also want to avoid the dirty dozen. All these foods, all these ingredients that are toxins, that are aging us faster than we need to age. We can definitely avoid those. And the best way to do that is by reading labels, reading the nutrition facts, reading the ingredients, and being a food detective. You can do that. It is not that hard, because if you can't pronounce it, maybe you shouldn't eat it. And so this is an example of how to do that. So let's look at this box of Cheerios. Maybe you had Cheerios this morning for breakfast, and all of these ingredients look fine, except you get to this one ingredient, trisodium phosphate. What is that? Do you know? Well, looking up some of the symptoms of it doesn't look good. Not anything that you would want inside of your body on a regular basis. So we can see that some of the symptoms would be shortness of breath, or burning sensation, or blisters, sore throat. No, you don't have to choose that. And so as we look at TSP, we can see that it's a heavy duty cleaner. Who knew that that would be in simple boxes of cereal? Become a food detective. And these are the things that are going to help you age well. We can see on this box again of Lucky Charms, all the way down, what do you see? TSP, trisodium phosphate. That is not an ingredient that's going to serve you well. So what are some alternatives? Smoothies are easy and simple way to get more produce in your body every day. And the smoothies also allow you to eat the rainbow. Look at those beautiful colors. I have a smoothie every morning, and they are yummy. So the one here on top, that green one, looks like the one that I have every morning. I usually do kale or spinach. And also there are smoothie bowls. If you've never heard of those are wonderful, where you can do it a little thicker and you can eat it with a spoon. Or you can grow your own, and you see how Pastor R.J. Stevens and the church there have the Tower Garden, and what Henry had talked about as well. You can do that as well in your own home, growing your own food. So think about the changes. Think about the things that you can eat that are going to love you and love you well. Think about eliminating the foods with toxins in them that are not serving you well. Make changes before you have no choice. And health is not just about what we're eating, but it's also about what you're thinking and what you're saying. And many of you already know that Philippians encourages us that says that finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, honorable, just, pure, lovely, and commendable, think on these things. So I leave you with this: eat real food, not too much, mostly plants, because plants love your body and plants love your body well, and they help you age well. Thank you so much. My name is Lisa Michelle, and thank you, Troy.
Lisa, Michelle, thank you. I mean, just outstanding, pertinent information that I'm just, again, proud to serve with you as we bring this information to communities across America. So thank you for just being you and the big heart that you have for giving. So we're going to keep it moving, okay? But Henry and Lisa, they mentioned fresh air. I want to mention one of our sponsors real quick, Active Pure. If you go to the website, www.bhni.org, click on Active Pure, where they are actually purifying the air and surface, killing the COVID-2 virus up to 99.96%. They actually just sent a letter to President Biden on the importance of indoor air, which we breathe. 80% of the air we breathe, it's indoors because we spend most of our time indoors. So check them out on the website, okay? Moving on, lastly, but certainly not least, is a young lady who is at the forefront of teaching financial literacy to the masses. She is pouring in not only to families, but also universities with this message of developing your mind in the financial literacy space. So with no further ado, Felicia Bell, welcome.
Thanks, Troy. Thanks, everybody. I have to tell you, listening to Henry and Brandy and Lisa, I feel so much better. The breathing exercises and realizing I'm looking at my handful of vitamins that I take every day. And I said 90% of them are all like, calcium, turmeric. And it's like, oh my gosh, maybe I should just, increase my vegetable thing. And I'm a vegetable person, so it's not a big deal. So what I'm going to talk about today is how all of these things really do kind of all come together with your financial literacy. And I'm going to share my screen. So can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm going to try to make this, as fun as possible, but it's somewhat daunting as to the real statistics of the situation. So this is basically talking about the future of Black Americans in financial literacy and really how we stack up, but literally don't stack up. So a lot of the statistics that I'm going to show you today are based on the TIAA Institute Financial Literacy Wellness study that they did. And basically it's all about asking some simple questions and some simple philosophies in financial literacy and how we as Black Americans stacked up against it. So literally it talks about that the Black Americans as a whole, the financial literacy gap is huge. And we know that, right? We know that the financial literacy gap is huge. Okay, so we need to talk about how we have to try to change that. I'm gonna see if I can do it this way. So at Wealth Wave, our mission is really our goal is to try to eradicate financial literacy amongst everybody. But we realize with Black Americans, it's a bigger issue, okay? So we're trying to help people like with Troy and Reverend Stevenson and trying to help expose the issue and provide the literacy that everyone needs and the education to teach people how money works. And we offer workshops, and not to give a plug, but also like I was saying earlier to the team, it's based on this book. We'll talk about that later, okay? So let's see. So financial literacy basically is the knowledge and understanding that enables sound financial decision-making and the effective management of your personal finances. Financial well-being follows financial literacy. And of course, financial well-being then helps promote healthy well-being. It all comes together. Our ability to help ourselves and then help others, and then also provide a legacy. So when a person's financial literacy is increased, their total well-being follows. It can help you elevate in every area of your life. When we were just talking about what Henry and Brandy and Lisa were talking about, all those things can happen when you are also financially literate, because one of the things you do is that you have the finances available to buy the fresh vegetables. We all know the conundrum that the poor people cycle have in the fact that they can't afford these things, so they end up buying cheap processed foods, which then shortens their life, makes them unhappy, makes them unhealthy, and all these things are not happening because their lack of financial literacy contributes to this whole situation. It's a cycle. But what people need to understand is that's why we're all here today from different aspects of our life, because at the end of the day, it's all connected. So when they took a study that I was talking to the TIAA Institute, they showed that 38% of Black Americans couldn't answer the questions correctly, 38%. And when you break that down, 28% answered only half of the study questions correctly, 5% answered only 75% of the questions correctly. This is very daunting because if you don't understand, if you don't have financial literacy, there's no way you can break the cycle for yourself or for your children, for the legacy that you want to try to have. So basically, in other words, Black Americans on average really don't know the basics about how money works. And again, I'm working with an organization, Troy as well, to try to teach people how money works. We want to give them people the basic tools and foundation to understand what it is that helps money and financial literacy improve your health, improve your wellness. All of it is all tied together. So one of the key things that were measured is wages, take-home pay, budgets and management spending, managing spending, saving factors that maximize accumulations. We talk about the fact that in 2019, the average savings account provided 0.09% interest. In 2020, of course, because of the pandemic, that number went to 0.01%. You're not going to accumulate wealth putting your money in a 0.01% account. Talk key things measured: investment types, risk and return, borrowing and managing debt, and the types of coverage and how insurance really works. In each area, Black Americans answered less than half of the index questions correctly. We are behind the curve. So when you look at this graph, you can see in insurance, we were like 32%. But when you kind of look through the rest of them, as we creep through the whole thing, but what is the one thing we did know about? Borrowing. So that is not a good thing to say, that we know more about borrowing than saving or earning or investment. So that tells you we are living beyond our means. We're in debt. We understand the debt cycle. That's not a good thing if we don't understand the rest of the cycle. So that's an area that we need to work on and help people understand. It's a good thing we understand the borrowing cycle, but sometimes one of the things that I realize in doing this business is that Black Americans get so excited about getting credit, they never really understand that the credit they're being offered is crappy. You get a credit card and they're offering you 22% interest. That's fabulous. But the person who is a non-Black or non-brown person is getting that same credit card at 8 or 9%. So why are we getting excited? We're paying more money. So we need to understand beyond debt. We need to understand the bigger picture. We need to understand how money works. So here again, here's some charts about where we are in the financial literacy spectrum and the different areas where people knew more or didn't know more, right? So it turns out Black men know more than Black women in the index, about 7% more about financial literacy. When you look at the age group, you see that the 18 to 29 gap, they don't know as much as the people 60 and older. That makes sense. The people who are older have been around a lot longer, so they've been exposed to financial issues a lot longer, so they do know a little bit more. Then you look at the household income. Obviously, this again is consistent with the correlation. The less money you make, the less intelligence you had about financial literacy. The more money you make, the more intelligence you have. You're still at 52%, but that's still better than nothing. And then you look at the employment situation. You look at where your employers are. Those who were employed obviously did a little bit less than those who were retired, because those who were retired obviously had to find the intelligence to to figure out how to make their money last while they're not working. And then obviously those who are unemployed or disabled, showed a smaller level of financial literacy. So then we go back to the basics, financial education versus non-financial education. We are working very hard to go out to everybody, we're no stone unturned to provide the financial education. I'm going to say I'm a little bit biased. I want to help our people first, right? I want to help the brown people first because we're the ones suffering first. As Troy had said, we're going out to the schools. I'm picking the HBCUs first. I'm a Howard grad, so started there, So, but you see the difference in the financial literacy if you have the education. If you don't, you're at 35%, and if you do, you're at 46%. But look what happens with the other levels of education versus high school, college, and then a college degree. The more educated we become, the more financially literate we understand the issues that affect financial literacy. And again, it all comes back to the whole holistic wellness. It goes back to the helping with in nutrition, the doctors, the 6 best friends, and the breathing and the yoga, which was so beautiful at the beginning of this event. It all comes back because you will feel so much more relaxed and be able to enjoy those yoga moments when you're not worrying about the financial issues that might plague your whole existence. So the link between financial literacy and financial wellness has always existed. Black Americans tend to experience a lower financial well-being than other American adults. And it doesn't really take a long poll to understand that also impacts our health well-being, our ability to age well. We're plagued with all these issues because it all comes together. So knowing how money works is really the entire well-being of an individual. It really is. When we understand how money works, we can effectively manage our money and we can feel better about ourselves and we can plan, we can take care of ourselves. Just like when we get on a plane and they say, they give you that whole safety measure in the beginning and they say, in event of an emergency, you put on the oxygen mask first and then you help the other person. Same thing here. Learn how money works first and then you can help others. You can help your family members, you can help your kids, you can help the next generation as they come along. But you need to be that person who puts the oxygen mask on first. You need to know how money works. Financial literacy is financial well-being. Financial well-being provides healthiness in your own well-being. It allows you to make better choices for your own well-being. It's a commitment that we want to make to help people as they grow, create their own businesses, provide legacies. We're here to teach the teachers. We're here to help the churches. Reverend Stevenson teaches congregation and all those people who flock to him for guidance and all these other issues. Financial literacy is also there too. So when we talk about saving for retirement, Black Americans with greater financial literacy are more likely to save for retirement. And as we know, retirement is not guaranteed. Back in the day, you had 3 spools, right? You had 3 prongs. You had your pension, you had Social Security, and you may have had your own personal savings. There are no more pensions. And God knows where Social Security is going to be. So that means you really need to depend on your own savings. And if you're not financially literate, what does that look like? How are you going to do that? So it's important to start as soon as possible and get the education. Regardless of where you are in your life right now, the education is key. So improved financial literacy can help provide a measurable quality of life by increasing financial opportunity, financial confidence, financial success, regardless of your income level. Because if you know what's going on, you know how to budget correctly, you know how to allocate correctly, and you know how to build something. It's not about being a billionaire. It's just about doing with what you have and taking the best approach possible. And you can only do that if you're financially literate. And that is key. You can only do that if you're financially literate. So the median income household for Black Americans was $35,000. But the Black American household net worth was only $17,600, and 19% had a negative net worth. What does that really mean? Net worth is defined by your assets minus your liabilities. What do you have minus what do you owe equals your net worth. 20% of us have a negative net worth. That goes back to that slide I talked about earlier, where our debt knowledge is huge. We know that. That means we're in debt. So we need to stop the cycle. We need to understand how money works. We need to understand that we should not be living beyond our means. I understand we all are situations where sometimes we rely on credit cards to get us through. But if we have a plan, we can understand how to make that plan work for us. And it's not insurmountable. It's going to be a struggle, but we need to use that intelligence to help us get through these situations. So not knowing how money works costs the country, most Americans, $415 billion in 2020. That's not just Black Americans, that's Americans. $415 billion because they didn't know how money works. And so therefore they paid more or didn't save or lost money, opportunity costs, because they didn't know what to do. Here's the ugly thing. If you look at the Black Americans, we make up 13% of the 328 million in the country, right? So that's about 44 million. 62% of the Black Americans are financially illiterate. That means 27 Black Americans lost money or didn't understand what to do with their money. 27 million people out there are struggling to understand financial literacy. 27 million, that's a lot of us. And we are here to try to change that number. So our mission is to stamp out financial literacy everywhere. So families can dream again, people can be comfortable again, people can make better choices, people can use their financial freedoms to make sure that they choose better choices as far as eating better, healthier, relaxing, making those best friends and those 6 doctors part of their life. Because a lot of them don't have the options, again, because they don't understand finances correctly, financial literacy. They're spending their money incorrectly, and they don't have the cash flow to do what they really need to do properly. So our book, How Money Works, it's an education system. It's simple, it's easy to read, and we want to help everybody. We want to help all Americans. But but the 27 million out there right now, they need our help as well. So How Money Works is the first educational book that has been, that anybody can use, from 10 to 100. It's been endorsed by the Heartland Financial Institute of Financial Education. It's the only personal finance book that's been endorsed. It was the #1 personal finance book in Amazon in 2020. And it's just growing on a daily basis as we come out and do these things to help people like Reverend Stevenson's congregation. It's been on CNBC, CBS, ABC, Fox. It's all over the media. We're everywhere. But it's not helpful unless you actually read the book and actually then institute some of the things we do to help people become more financially literate. So 100% of our financial literacy criteria deals with engagement, discovery, clarity, up-to-date, honesty, and strategy. We teach classes. We use the book as the reference point, but we teach classes. Troy has a class next Tuesday. He will give you the link, but we teach classes. It's important for people to read the book, take the classes. They're all free. And then sit down with somebody and have them review to see where you are. We teach the one key thing is the 7 money milestones. We talk about financial education, proper protection, emergency fund, debt management, cash flow, building wealth, and protecting wealth. And I know people will sit there and say, well, I don't have any wealth to build. Actually, you do. It doesn't matter how much money you have. But if you work the financial literacy program and the 7 money milestones correctly, you will eventually build wealth. It takes time and just takes a little bit to start, but it's all about behavior and it's all about getting the process in play. If you don't get started, you're absolutely right. It's not going to happen. So one of the tools that we use is the money discovery form. It's a very simple form, and it helps you list down the things that you have, things that you owe, but also gives you an idea, where is it that you want to go? And then what gaps are in there that you're not addressing to keep you from getting where you want to go. That's what we're here for. We're here to give you that education for you to take pause and sit there and say, ooh, I need to do this, or I'm on track. The reality is we all need to take pause at least once a year with a financial professional to look over where you're going. Where have you been? What changed in your life? Did you get married? Did you get divorced? Did you have kids? Did you buy a house? Do you want to buy a house? Do you want to rent? Do you want to retire in Costa Rica? When do you want to retire? All these things. Life is passing us all by day. And all we want to do is take a snapshot, maybe once a year, and see that we're on track. Because having a sense of financial well-being will give you that sense of calm. You will able to institute your 6 best friends and your 6 doctors because you won't have to worry about those other things. So how money works. We've deployed hundreds of courses across North America every day. And this is how we're going to treat financial literacy in our community, especially in the Black community. We're here as soldiers to try to eradicate financial literacy. And we want to start with our community. Because as you can see, we're further behind than everybody else. So one thing is clear, increased financial literacy enables financial education, can transform the financial well-being of Black Americans. I'm here with my heart and hand to try to help do that. And this is what I want to do, continue to do until God says it's not for me to do. But as a company, we want to teach over 20 million families how money works within the next decade. We want to eradicate financial literacy. And as earlier slides showed, there's 27 million of us. It's not just us, but there's 27 million of us that need the help with financial literacy. So together we can close the financial literacy gap that hinders Black Americans by equipping us with financial education at every age and every income level. Again, Troy is having a class on next Tuesday, I believe. He can send you the link. And it goes through the book, Financial Literacy, How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker. So that is the end of my presentation.
Wow, Felicia, thank you. Thank you so much. I don't know about you, ladies and gentlemen, my kings and queens, brothers and sisters, but I feel extremely blessed by what these amazing people have poured into this launching of the Black and Hispanic Nutrition Initiative, along with the ribbon cutting ceremonies for the new Saint Paul AME Church. Just phenomenal. I'm really speechless. And I believe Pastor RJ is on with us now. So Pastor, if you want to say a few words, please, my brother, the floor is open.
You mean you're gonna let a pastor speak?
Hey, my brother, I know you've been busy down there. I saw you doing your thing down there. And congratulations, man. Congratulations. Of course, you know you're going to speak.
I'm so excited that you all have joined us here for the ribbon cutting of the hub. This is absolutely amazing. But the impact that the information and the initiative will have, even just beyond our community, is just going to be groundbreaking. I know you can't see it here, but outside of here, there are community of vendors, food trucks, bouncy houses, people outside are having an amazing time. And I'm just thankful that you all have connected with us to be a part of what's going on today. It's important for us to have initiatives such as this so that communities that have been forgotten and underserved can start regaining some structure, equity, and support for what it is that we're going to do for our next generation. And as a pastor in the community, it's my responsibility to be the solution for problems. So when I found out that my community had problems with nutrition, I wanted to find a reasonable and sustainable solution for that. The Tower Gardens situation with Juice Plus was the best idea I had heard. I was minding my own business, and somebody called me one day talking about, RJ, we want you to try something, and it became a phenomenal example of what can happen when dreams and visions come together with provision. And I'm just thankful that you all have given your time. I'm thankful that you all have been made yourself available for today to celebrate with us, but also to make this rich information available for people in our community. We had a conversation the other night about identifying community health persons who will be trainers in the community. I just talked to one of my members today. She's going to sign up, and it's just going to be an amazing thing to see not only the impact it has in this community, but as we continue to duplicate these programs in communities across our country, we'll be able to see a tremendous and exponential effect on how we can take back our nutrition and empower our communities to be better for a long time and generations to come. So thank you all for your time and for your support, and thank you for choosing the Hub and our ribbon cutting today to be a day to launch this kind of initiative. And I'm just excited about what we're doing.
Well, Pastor, let me tell you, man, as my pastor, Reverend Jesse Bottoms up in New York, man, because sometimes, you know, them 3-minute speeches can turn into 30-minute speeches, my brother. So I'm just elated that you kept it short, because I know you have a 2:00 thing with Google. I have an important 2:00 Zoom. If anybody wants to go out and come back in, we're going to be honoring NBA Hall of Famer Dave Bing and my personal good friend, actor, director, humanitarian, Mr. Bill Duke at 2 p.m. on the same line. So I invite you to that. Now, for those who want to take part in the financial literacy, we got a little bit more in-depth series that's about 35 minutes. It'll be Tuesday at 8 p.m. Go to the website a little bit later. I need to upload the new registration link. When you register, you will get a free copy of that book that Felicia talked about, How Money Works. Stop being a sucker, okay? We know we're not no suckers. So we want to open that mind and wake up and start utilizing the money we do have a little bit wiser, because we all have uncles back in the day that had, you know, they weren't making $100,000 a year. They maybe made $30,000, but they had money, right? They were wise. They were disciplined. They weren't frugal with their money. So we got to be more disciplined with our money. On the heels of that, we got the stimulus coming up, right? Everybody been worrying about the stimulus. When you get that money, what are you going to do with it, right? Don't just throw it away. Don't throw it away. Use it wisely. Invest a portion of it. So it's very critical that you, again, I said open mind, right? Closed minds don't get fed. Open that mind. Use the information that you received today and put it to use. Take action. It's a call to action. And again, we want to, Dr. Sears, he's opened up his heart, not only with books, and I really want to mention this because we have a mentorship, entrepreneurship program in this initiative also. So for those who might want to become a health coach, we have a path to that. If you want to be an entrepreneur, every coach on here is a successful business owner that is also serving as a mentor. If you want to get into the health and nutrition business, that's available to you. We are ready to mentor you and guide you. We're even sponsoring some people to get into that business. Financial services. Felicia, you heard her. She teaches at Howard University all over the country. She's teaching. She is also a mentor that can get you into the financial services business, okay? Everyone's not going to go to college. That's just reality. But there is a path that you can go right into as an entrepreneur, owning your own business and starting to control your destiny at the tender age of 18. You're going to have mentors with 30 years experience that are going to hold your hand and walk you through. So again, take advantage of this Black and Hispanic Nutrition Initiative. Use it wisely, utilize the resources, and just let's just all uplift one another. This is what we're going to do starting in 2021, but this is going to be eternal, coming into communities all over the US right now, but we're going to go global soon. All my brothers and sisters in the other countries, we will be there also with this initiative. But again, I want to thank all my coaches, Dr. Steers, thank you so much, Henry Lee, Lisa Michelle, Brandy Klinksgale, Felicia Bell, Pastor RJ Stevenson. Appreciate you, love you guys. We're going to sign off now. We got a big day ahead of us. God bless you, love you.
Thank you, Troy.
All right, everybody. Thank y'all so much.